war teaches you what it means to be Israeli. That is what many immigrants here understand. Eitan moved to Israel with his family as a teenager. After serving in the IDF and starting a family of his own, he came to know his mission. So he moved to a small village called Kfar Tamim, surrounded by desert.
This is the Beit Midrash. Usually it's full of students and full of books, and the Kol HaTorah, the voice of Torah, really echoes off the walls.
The Ruach HaNegev Mechina program in its third year is split between Jewish learning and volunteering, with an additional goal to prepare students if they want to join the IDF.
So we combine daily learning and daily service learning around the community, around the whole Negev, in order to give them an authentic Israeli experience, to help them build a solid foundation for the rest of their life.
But on October 7th, also the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah, Kfar Tamim, a religious village, found itself in the middle of the action.
And everyone was on their phone. We're the first yishuv that didn't get infiltrated by terrorists. Seilim, which is west of us, there were 3 terrorists that were killed outside of Seilim, so they actually were like on their way, and they actually found a list of yishuvim, and we were on the list of yishuvim that they were planning on getting to.
Meanwhile, Eitan's wife, Neely, a volunteer EMT and a psychotrauma first responder, was called to action along with others. Nova Party escapees fleeing down the only safe open road to them, right into Retamim.
There was one specific car that I remember that came through and piled with like a bunch of guys in it. And there was one kid that sort of was like hanging out because there was like barely any room. He was like sort of outside the car, and I put my hand like on his hand and I said, "It's gonna be okay." And I remember he looked at me and he was like, "No, it's not gonna be okay."
Shortly after, Eitan found himself in his reserve's army uniform, alone with his kids, and trying to track down his students, scattered across the country for the holiday. But duty called.
Everyone's gonna put their own personal lives on the side, even if they're a CEO of a high-tech company or a teacher or a parent or anything.
So he left his children with the neighbors and left to the front lines for 4 months, along with the rest of his program staff. Meanwhile, his students relocated until the situation was more clear.
And also volunteering and really joining the war effort however they could. They were packing meals for soldiers, and they were barbecuing, and they were working with farmers.
He says it was a bittersweet moment when the program was deemed on hiatus for the rest of the year. And one Zoom call with parents abroad changed his perspective.
One of the parents opened up his mic and said, "Eitan, I could not be more proud that my student's a part of this program, and that all his teachers, he gets to see his teachers stand up in the middle of their life, leave everything, and go defend their country and defend the nation."
And that's kind of, in essence, what this program is all about, right?
It's everything what we're all about.
Now, he and his staff are finally home, for the time being.
The expectation of society is that, okay, the paper says you're not in the army anymore, so come to work, do the things, do your regular everyday responsibilities. But the body and the soul is saying, hold on, like, only now are we able to, a little bit, release.
Including preparing, recruiting for next year's program. But Eitan says everyone is in agreement that time with family and taking one day at a time is the most important thing.
I don't know if October 7th had to happen. I can't get myself to say it had to happen for us to feel it, but there's no doubt that because it happened, the sense of connection and the sense of unity that the Jewish people have today is greater than probably we've ever experienced. And that's something that we pass on to our students. The fact that you are a Jewish person and you have a responsibility to be there for your friend and for your brother. When he's hurting, you're hurting. And if you're able to do something, whether it be donating money, picking up a gun, picking up a shovel, packing a package, smiling, hugs, whatever it might be, that's your responsibility.
He hopes his actions, not just his words, have an impact on his students, and that Ruach HaNegev brings life to the desert for another year to come. This is Channa Rifkin from Kfar Tamim in Israel's Negev desert.